C'est moi! I'm here again, reading you chapter 15 from A Brush with Paradise. It is called The Banquet. I decided to wear my most colourful, outrageous shirt from Stefan's Emporium. Remember him at the beginning with the amazing store? I hadn't had the occasion or the inclination to wear it so far on this venture. I wanted to make a loud statement. What was I? I had no idea, but loud it would be. I opened my bedroom door and was greeted by a massive clatter, followed by a thunderous explosion of glass and cutlery, and then a certain someone shouted out, "What you doing, you fat-ass dervish?" Angus had a way with words. As his comments reverberated around the place, I decided it was better to stay away for a while. I gingerly closed my bedroom door again. Here comes another train. There it goes. Very quiet here compared to England. I managed to assess the amount of paintings that I had more or less completed, minus a few touching ups required, but overall I was rather satisfied. No doubt Lizzie would have her say, all constructive mind you, but ashamed to decided to be out of bounds. Well, at least she still represented me, and actually she seemed a whole lot calmer now. When the time arrived to be seen again, I checked myself over in the mirror. That will do nicely, I saluted my reflection and left for the lion's den. How different the banqueting room looked. I certainly preferred it without the people wandering around. Lucia was buzzing like a bee, milling around and showed everyone to their particular seat, and I was placed directly with my back to the panel that hid the weapons. Was that a coincidence, I wondered? Angus sat at the head of the table, naturally. Lizzie sat to his right. George and Aunt Marge were placed either side of me. CK and Camilla sat opposite, and Lucia took the chair beside Angus. CK looked at me with his usual distaste. I've been told that you've been entertained by my wife and her friends with your artistic skills. Well, I'd never have put Camilla and CK together, let alone married. She seemed so nice and bubbly. Camilla beamed. He was wonderful with us, and such a gent, weren't you, my dear? Thank you. One tries to please for sure, and besides, you've all agreed for a second lesson, didn't we? I was very careful with what I said, as the jealous one just stared me out. Aunt Marge was blissfully overdressed, which included a plunging neckline that exposed more than the imagination entailed. She leaned towards me. So nice to see you again. I'm sorry you've not come to visit. I'm sure we have so much in common. Have you been enjoying your stay? Has Lizzie looked after you properly, I wonder? I glanced over to Lizzie. Aunt Marge, she has been exemplary, professional to a T. Lizzie glanced back. We're in the throes of planning his exhibition as we speak. Just a few more pieces and voila, I can't wait. Life was a game of chess, and I was one of the pieces. Which one? Surely not a pawn. The waiters in full dress uniform poured the wine, and food was served by waitresses also dressed for the occasion. It was akin to a film set from the 50s, quite surreal in one sense, yet it suited the room and ambience to match. Apparently, Lucia had organised the entire production. In a way, it was totally over the top, and yet, constantly in the back of my mind, festered a thought as to what Angus actually did. He acted like the laird of the manor. I was surprised he wasn't dressed in full tartan with all the regalia. We had a thick, steaming, greenish-coloured soup to start, which was quite peppery, followed by steamed fish. I think it was snapper. The sauce came with a health warning. The waitress said to be careful as she placed a large plate in front of me. Naturally, it was Scotch bonnet infused, hot and fiery, just like Angus. Finally, for dessert, a massive slice of what was known as hummingbird cake was served. It had layers of pineapple and bananas soaked with spices and littered with pecans. I had to admit the dessert tasted joyously wonderful. In a word, I was stuffed. George hadn't said much the whole meal. She appeared to watch what everyone else did. Without any warning, she placed her hand on my thigh and gently caressed it, running her fingers up and down. Her face gave nothing away. "Hello, are you enjoying yourself?" I asked. "Might be." She squeezed a little harder, then ventured a little higher with her explorative hand. "There might be something of interest for me. We just might have to find out one day, methinks." I went to grab my wine glass at the same time. A waiter began to pour some more. "Perfect timing, Albine," I said. He looked bemused, as he didn't understand my meaning or my situation. I turned back to George. "What's your opinion of romance in these modern times?" I asked. She kept her hand on my thigh. "Overrated mostly. Just depends on what you're after. Let's say it's old-fashioned, unnecessary, and requires a lot of energy. So, flowers and chocolates don't do it for you. Holding hands as you stroll along a beach, listening to the sea kiss the water's edge, while sharing the moment of glorious sunset as it vanishes below the horizon." I closed my eyes and took in the visual imagination of the hues of reds, the oranges, the purples, the dying sun, and how the sea would change colour. "No. Take what you get till you get what you want," said George. "Sorry? What's that mean?" I asked, none the wiser. George explained. "You take what you can get until you can get what you want. Simple." "Oh, right then. So you don't know what you're missing?" "Oh, I know what I'm missing. And it's sure I'm no walks on the beach with mosquitoes and sunsets. You'll be munched to pieces." And she had a point there. I took a sip of my wine and for some unexplainable reason stood up and addressed the gathering. "I'd like to propose a toast to Angus and the women of this fabulous place. I cannot thank you enough for letting me enjoy and soak up all the warmth and joy offered to me. I feel like I could almost stay here forever. I'm sure that's not the case. However, would you all raise your glasses and toast our hosts to Angus and the wonderful ladies?" And I sat down. Angus slowly stood up. "Aye, laddie, I'll thank you. You're right there. They are a dream team, and indeed your stay will sadly come to an end in the not-too-distant future. I'm sure the homelands are calling you back." In reality, that was a warning I half expected. Trust me to have opened my mouth. Oh well, I'd better enjoy what time was left. Who knows? Maybe he might change his mind. I doubted it.